It's on Google and saying on the video. You know something?
Mm.
Yeah, Spencer came over. Was it Tuesday? Well, I mean, obviously, it was Tuesday.
I was poor life.
I didn't work on it. I never did Tuesday before we went to the other spot. Anyway, he was looking for you. He brought 3 cups. He was like, "Where's Sarah? I brought 3 cups because I thought she would be here." I said, "Sarah's on tour." Oh, now my order got canceled. I'm about to get mad.
What you order?
Well, these stuff I need from Marriott.
Where is the brownie from?
City Street Cafe. That's what's missing.
Um,
Oh, that doesn't mean.
At the Starbucks in Anaheim. You just hit it off. And so
Hey, don't get lost down there.
no, it feels good to dive into savings. It feels good to guide now.
What you put?
mm.
How do we combat this woman? What do we do?
Hello. gotta go back to work.
Mm-mm.
You done? You off?
No, I gotta go back. But I'm saying I'm not going right now. Ain't nothing going on over
Oh yeah, I'm coming to your job.
there. When?
I gotta be the dishwasher one of these days.
First is I wish none of this happened.
I wonder who was requesting me. Was it Shanice?
Is
Who do what?
Who was requesting me? Shanice?
would
Shiny?
Who was requesting me?
Ananda, probably.
history.
Oh, well, technically Shani. Because she puts in how many people she wants.
In 2016, Ian and I had been friends for
So if she was specifically requested you, that means you was favorited.
we worked together at this time. His mom had moved to another state.
What you ain't like?
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of stuff in here. There's nuts and chocolate chips.
And having so much fun anytime I was with him. He's just that guy. When the opportunity came for him to apply to be a deputy with the U.S. Marshal Service, Ian was thrilled.
The brownies
U.S.
okay.
Marshals represent the Department of
I like my
Justice.
brownies a little cakier.
He would transport inmates from prison to prison. He was responsible for protecting federal judges. So it was an important job. Ian was without a doubt a person I would trust with my entire life. Most people question the relationship that Ian and I have, but our friendship is
There's some true
just
crime shit.
not a romantic relationship. So when he met Angela, nothing made me happier. Ian always wanted to be married and he wanted to have kids. And he was really excited that Angela wanted the same things.
We met at the Starbucks in Anaheim. We just hit it off. And so she moved into my condo. The smile alone, I mean, the smile was killer. She was just a sweetheart. 2-3 weeks go by, I closed her. Because she was everything I ever wanted in a woman.
Within a few months of meeting, Ian and Angela are living together, married, and Ian's thrilled because he's always wanted to be a dad.
I don't need to wash this shit off my face.
We sit down for dinner and Ian tells
Hmm.
me that
I'm gonna wash this eyeliner off my damn face.
someone called Lilith is truth.
I gotta do some laundry.
They have this biblical undertone. The nature of them are super threatening. We had no clue what Lilith was. Ian and I both had to Google it. There are legends that Adam had a wife before Eve who was named Lilith. She was banished from the Garden of Eden because she did not want to submit to Adam. Lilith was an evil, wicked woman who committed adultery with Satan and produced a race of evil creatures. Lilith transformed into an evil demon, out for revenge to kidnap and kill newborn children in the night.
This bitch gotta go.
Scared the hell out of me. I had no idea where that came from. Angela was really upset.
When we going back to Ash? Mm-hmm.
We can go this weekend because I don't think.
When we go through we went on a weekday.
No, we went on Friday.
I want to see what it's like on a weekday. Oh, that's gonna be the fucking weekend or over again. What the fuck?
No, we went on a Wednesday. Because I remember saying I wanted to go to house so. It wasn't in this one.
I'm sick of house of
It
stuff.
was at what you call it.
I need a break from there.
But Saturday,
Who's doing
we
this?
go Saturday.
I got something to do Saturday. I think I got my
I
family
got a
having me
birthday
back.
party Saturday. Oh yeah, you not going to Orlando party? I sent you the flyer.
I got a family event Saturday.
Um, it's late.
This motherfucker gonna be all day. My cousin got a big ass mansion. Big ass pool, food, bottles, liquor. She the mayor? What is she? She like the governor of Missouri or some shit. I forgot what the
I
fuck
mean, she's not the mayor. That's a white lady.
she I think she have a fluorescent. She like that some shit.
Oh, in the county.
And she do like a cousin's party every year this month.
We were both thinking the exact same thing, which is, holy shit.
So you're gonna have a drunk ball.
How the fuck I ain't figuring out my annoying ass family. I just wanna see how my look is. Why you block me? Shut the fuck up. What's up?
Go into the police.
Oh, it's gonna be hot as fuck. We gonna be most definitely in the pool.
We already texted back about the fuck trip. I asked him what time. But then I didn't think about what time we were going to be back.
I'm not going nowhere no fucking heat. This is Miami or New Orleans.
You understand that the emergency protective order, they're typically for domestic violence. Somebody got arrested, and the element is she's not served yet. It's a criminal arrest, but
I forgot I was live. What's up, y'all? I just had a little TT, a little snack. They like, bitch, you just ate Mexican food, now you tequila, now your ass eating brownies and ice cream. Who on Instagram? It look like I've been lit as fuck, but I've been crying inside.
No, it's like you've been having
Man,
a blast, the time of your life.
fuck. I did have fun. You put in the kitchen.
These spoons was one of my favorite housewarming gifts.
I'm cute.
Cause I just
I'll
like.
smack somebody with that motherfucker. I mean,
Goodness.
bitch,
Abuse.
go give me the Cheerios.
Really hoping that would put an end to it. And everything can quiet down. The emails kept coming. So Ian and Angela called the police again.
Hi, I have several reports with you guys over a temporary restraining order. It was served upon the person that I need protection from. She has continued to send her crazy, threatening, violent, I'm going to tell you emails. She actually did it right after the cops went to her house in Ontario, served her. An hour later, I got another one, and it's insane, including really graphic photographs. I was advised when I tried to contact you guys once again to see if she could get arrested. Because she's gone on far too long, and she's obviously violated the no contact order. Your name is Angela, and the last name is Diaz, Okay, I'm gonna call out.
You turn that light off. You turn these lights off.
My friend Buddy, I know he's sick. He left his cigarettes here.
Where he at?
Where he at?
Go have fun. Was it hot when you went to work?
Not yesterday.
It's hot out there now.
It's hotter now.
2 years we were together.
This is the hottest summer we done had in hell.
Do I know her now? No.
Like, for real.
She took a knife into that bathroom right there and told me that she had to know where she wanted to kill herself.
And she threatened to burn the down with both of them.
When a week before she left, she was very emotional. This is August. Yeah, this is in August last year. Before she left, last week of August, she told me in a crying fit of rage, with her eyes wide open and tears streaming down her face, freaking, that she wished she could burn this whole motherfucker down with me, you, and the dog in it. Or the, I think it was.
Fuck the streets. They killing me. All by
I'll be back in an hour
myself. Don't wanna be all by myself. Was that good
It's
enough?
just out.
Every single day, every time I would see.
Don't get kidnapped walking down the street.
And I thought, oh my God, what now?
We're drinking your wine tonight.
Oh, you gotta get it out the car.
You took it.
Yeah, I was on a mission.
When did you do that? It was in there earlier.
I was hurt.
And then
Oh. Oh, that sounds like a lie. She was gonna be hot.
Girl is a motherfucker.
fantasy rape, like photographs of Angela, invited the guy to show up at the condo to rape Angela. Saying, come to my house and even
Fuck,
my
you gonna say they gonna drink my motherfucking wine. That's crazy.
I get this message from Lilith's Truth saying she's interested in doing a rape fantasy. She sends me her address in Anaheim and her pictures. And she says, just show up, I'll leave the door open for you, pin me down, and do whatever you want. I replied, I was thinking about a home invasion scenario where you would be your bestie. I don't want a neighbor to see us struggle and call the cops.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Ed, and I have the businesses with Anaheim TV, and serve restraining order on a person who is Tallahassee. She was yet again violating that restraining order, and I've been receiving emails today from her saying that she has somebody that's going to come attack me and rape me. We'll send some more down as soon as we can. So what's going on?
My idea. Me was much sorry. This is Antoine. This ex-girlfriend of mine, Michelle, she's stating that she's gonna have this guy come over, he's gonna give the address, whatever, and come over and rape her, beat her, right? This is what she wrote to this guy. Hi there, I've been dying to have a rape fantasy occur while walking my dog. All of you to do more than forcing me on, forcing me on the street, dragging me upstairs, and taking me from behind on the bed. If you can fulfill this tonight, please let me know. I am 30, tall, gorgeous, and ready. My address is this address. I have a York and walk every night. Say 8 p.m. Come find me.
As I'm parking, I'm feeling excited. I'm getting a rush of dopamine, thinking I'm gonna go and get this done. But once I got to the building, I noticed the name Ian Diaz. This stopped me cold. I don't want to be walking into a situation where the boyfriend or the husband doesn't know and then I get beat up or murdered. So I left.
The only description that I have is that it's a male in dark clothing. So we have the helicopter up above. Obviously, you know, make sure you're very if you think the guy's back or you're sending you guys emails or if you're knocking on the door, give us a call back. No problem. No worries.
Ian is trying to keep it all together, but I could hear in his voice that there was some deep fear there.
At what point of hiring guy on the wife list to rape her? I'm just curious.
Why isn't Michelle in custody, or at the very least, being questioned?
How do we combat this woman? What do we do?
Am I supposed to continually just be in my house all the time?
There was a part of me thinking, you need to get the hell out of this condo. You gotta move out. It's scorched earth. By this point, Ian was feeling incredibly stressed out. He doesn't know how much more of these emails he can take. And then all of a sudden, he says, Leslie, you're not gonna believe this.
Somebody came from behind me and shoved me against my wall and started to choke me and was telling me that I'm gonna fucking get it and it's time for me to get raped. Okay, how many individuals were there? Just one, and he was wearing a black thing over his face. Like a black Tina? Yeah. Okay, we have somebody on the way right now, okay, ma'am? Okay. Yeah, he's actually right here with me. He's with you? Yeah.
Second around, is that all right? Yeah. Okay. Is that your makeup on that right there? Yeah. Okay.
I just didn't know what was happening, and then all he said was, I tried to move it and grab it. He had me pinned back by the hair and stuff like that. And he told me that now you're gonna get raped. For about a month, my husband's ex has been threatening to rape, kill my child.
Well, what's her name?
They call it Michelle Hadley.
What wall did you have to be pitching here?
First they let her knock here, right here, and then towards my feet.
Okay. If I find that from this place, that this guy should probably, she's probably responding to him too, and did send it to you or sent it to somebody else, so who knows where it went, I'm changing your warrant. Here's what's gonna happen, okay? I have a warrant in my phone, and I'm gonna go out there and grab it.
I just have a couple of questions. Some things going on with you and Camille. You made a report with us and you got in some emails that came from you.
One of which probably sounded like a thing for me to do that.
Okay. Lilith is free. You know anything about that? What that means or anything?
No.
We hear car door slamming, where the dog starts barking. When I came out, there's the two detectives, and I asked them, what's going on out here? And he said, oh, we're arresting your daughter. I said, what for? I said, what evidence could you possibly have?
Everything right now is looking like you have some responsibility for it. I'd like to get more answers from you. We're going to open the custody of it. Okay? Okay, why don't you give us your full and complete name, please? And what you did. Michelle, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is you have to be completely truthful and candid with us today. So if we find out that anything you said is untrue, then I can use those statements you give to us today. Before I start though, can I see all these emails here? I've been more than patient with you, my patience has come to an end. And it's an email, September 10th, 2015. This is a reference towards the get ready, the truth is coming, God's lost, the law lost, including the law of man. So did you write this?
Yeah, that was me.
I don't even really understand where a lot of it came from or why I wrote it. I listened to a lot of sermons growing up, and so it almost was like some weird brain dump from childhood.
Just education.
So it was like the alternate persona of like a devil character, like the female side.
Inside.
You know, it's like a Satan or devil character.
So Lilith is the anti-Jesus. Or the dark side.
So, yeah. It's hard to explain. It's not really like anything else I've ever experienced. You're just like, okay, what did I do? Like, I don't even know what happened. And I thought, oh my god, I really am losing my mind.
Let's talk about Ian. How did you first meet him?
In 2013, I was doing online dating. I wanted to write and then I matched with this Virgil named Ian. So I said yes. I grew up watching all of the Disney princess shows on TV, and I really bought into it. That if you were a nice girl, you got your prince at the end. I quickly learned that Ian was really into Disneyland. He told me he went all the time, like multiple times a week. As we're walking around, he's showing off his knowledge of how things work behind the scenes, and it turns out he worked there for many years. We were talking about princesses, and he told me his favorite princess was Belle. That was his type, and that I was like her. I had never met someone who was this into Disney as an adult, but he told me that some of his best memories with his dad, who he did not have a good relationship with, were at Disneyland. I'm thinking, how sweet. I love when men are vulnerable, and it was such a magical environment that I remember also feeling a little bit swept away in the moment. So I was super excited to do a trip to New York City for a few months over. It's very romantic around Christmas. Ian was super excited that we were in New York City. So he was videoing everything. I wasn't used to people videoing me, so I remember feeling a little bit awkward.
He's just so cute. And you walk through and you're looking at everything, he's so normal.
Ian was attentive. He was sweet. He was thoughtful.
You want to get a cookie?
I started seeing him as a really good option for a long-term relationship. And so we decided to move in together. Ian actually brought up the decision to buy. And he finds these new construction condos in downtown Anaheim. The idea was that I would basically front the money for the down payment, then he would help out with the mortgage payment. I cleared out my entire savings account, but I was super happy. It just seemed like a natural progression, right? We're getting engaged, we're gonna need a place to start our family, we can literally drive to Disneyland in, 10 minutes, and oh my god, we can also see the fireworks from our balcony, and that was actually the clincher. But then, once we moved into the condo together, it felt like everything took a turn for the worst. And I just have no idea how things got to a place where I ended up literally considered the craziest woman in Orange County.
A woman is behind bars this morning in connection with a strange and violent stalking case.
Michelle Hadley's facing felony stalking charges after harassing her ex-boyfriend's pregnant wife.
29-year-old Hadley used a rape fantasy online ad to send people to her ex-boyfriend's home. The man's new wife, who was pregnant, by the way, was actually attacked by one of the men who responded to the ad.
They said that she routed emails through different computers and servers trying to evade police. Hadley is being held on $1 million bail. If convicted, she faces up to life in prison.
I feel helpless. We have no idea what to do. When we raised our daughters, one thing I always made clear to them is you treat everybody with respect and kindness. So when they're accusing my daughter of luring them in to attack a pregnant woman, the wife of a U.S. Marshal, of course, I'm in shock.
Well, this is certainly one of those terrific stories of mayhem and vengeance I've ever covered. She could be looking at upwards of life in prison.
I've never been to a jail in my life. Michelle's mother, Suzanne and I are behind a big glass, and they bring Michelle up, and Michelle goes into the cage. Only really bad offenders go in the cage. This is the saddest day of my life. Attempted rapes, sexual assaults, stalking, and harassment. It looks like she could get a life sentence for all this. Our relatives think she did it. Our friends think she did it. But my mind is logical, which equates into numbers. It means that 2 and 2 is always 4, no matter what. So when things don't make any sense, that is not a world that I exist with. I would never, ever think she would be capable of this. So if Michelle didn't do this, who's Lilith? That's the question. Who is Lilith?
It was the summer of 2013. I was in a little bar called Out of Bounds in Huntington Beach. Noticed a really cute blonde walk through the doors. She was flashy, she was cute, and she walked with swagger. She was hot. I must have mentioned at some point that I was in law enforcement, and she said, I am as well. I'm an attorney, and I work with the Department of Justice. So we had that in common, and we exchanged numbers. She introduced herself as Angie. Her full name was Angela. Angela was everything a guy would want in a girlfriend, all across the board. She was fun, funny, kind, energetic, vivacious. Each day that ticked by, my feelings for her got stronger and stronger. A few months later, she mentioned she wasn't happy at her apartment in Irvine, and I said, well, why don't you just move in here? You're here all the time. Anyway, I was falling for her, there's no doubt. One night we were on the couch. She divulged that she had cervical cancer, and the cancer progressed to stage 4. I said, oh my God, okay, we're gonna beat this together. I wanna be supportive. I'll go to the chemotherapy appointments with you. No, you just work. I know you need to work, you have an important job. I can get there by myself. Angela wanted to be strong, and she wanted to do this herself. I didn't like it, but I had to accept it.
I met Angela back in 2014. She was just very warm and friendly, and I thought, oh my God, she's interested in my kids, and anybody who wants to know about my kids, I instantly left. When Angela told me that she had cancer, I could feel her pain. It was palpable. And finding out so newly in knowing her that she was sick, I felt very maternal and very protective towards her. She was kind of an injured bird in some ways, and who doesn't want to take care of an injured bird? And she would come to my son's Little League practice, and we'd sit and just chat. We would talk about her health, about her dreams. She was afraid that she was going to die. And the more time that I spent with Angie, I noticed that she got thinner, that she got more pale. She was throwing up all the time from the chemo. And she says, I feel uncomfortable. I don't think that I'm pretty. I don't think Jason's going to be attracted to me anymore. So to show support for Angie, I cut my hair short and put her on Facebook. and I posted a hashtag Angie Warrior on it.
There was one particular doctor appointment that Angela was going to, and so I said, I'm going. I'm absolutely going. Took the time off. I drove her there. When we got into the doctor's office, she was adamant, no, she would not let me go in. I thought it was so weird and awkward, and then I started looking around. Something was wrong, and I couldn't pinpoint what it was. I asked the receptionist, what kind of cancer treatment center is this? That's when I discovered that she was there to have a mole that she had on her ankle removed. I confronted Angela. She said, well, that's part of it. I need to get the cancerous mole removed as well. That came across as really, really weird to me.
Angela was very upset because she was losing her hair. She had her hat on, of course, and we'd be talking and I'd see her go like that. And at first I thought she was concerned because she didn't want us to see that she was balding. But I'm realizing she's pushing her hair up. I didn't want to call her out on that and be the asshole, but I just had a strong inkling that she was lying. I mean, this bitch has more hair than I do.
Angela had text messaged me her first-person perspective from sitting in the chair receiving her chemotherapy. And I thought, Angela's not in this picture. Is this real? I did this online search. I had to go through pages upon pages upon pages.
I decided to call UCI where she said that she was receiving her chemotherapy.
Hi, my name's Mary. My friend Angie there. I'm supposed to be picking her up to take her home. She's there getting chemo. I have no idea how to find her, and I can't get a hold of her right now. Can you help me?
They said, I am so sorry, but as far as we know, she's not a patient here. She specifically was going there. She'd sent me pictures from getting chemo there.
As I was just about to quit, that very last page, I found that exact photograph. Oh my God, what? It was taken by a guy that was going through a battle with cancer. My heart sunk, on my feet. I thought, how do I get this person out of my house?
When I met Jason, he asked me if I would come over and help pack her shit. I realized the journal that I got her, it had notes scribbled on it for her medical treatment, but also it had like hearts and scribbling about Jason, how bad he would feel when she died, and she wanted him to go on with his life. She knew she wasn't dying. So why do that? Did she want somebody to find it? Is she that deranged that she truly believed it? We found in the bottom drawer there was medical tubing and gauze. So she could make it look like something was sticking out of a port. I'm thinking, fuck you. I don't know what's going on. You're lying to everybody. I don't know what your game is, but I'm on to you. It was time for a confrontation.
I invited everybody in our circle. She had lied to, manipulated to my house.
Come on, have a seat. Please have a seat. Here's what's going on. Everybody just let me know A, B, or what? Okay, for Tuesday, one, everybody just know is about to know two things. You're not an attorney.
Yes, I actually am. I got I laughed. It's like, okay, it's total bullshit.
You don't have cancer.
Yes, I do. No, you don't. What are you talking about? Yeah, let's see your report.
Yeah, just sit down.
Right?
Let's talk
What are
about
you
it.
guys talking about?
You two sit down.
overwhelming force that you don't have to consider. So everybody in this room is going to see, and like I said, more heartbroken.
I believed you and I welcomed you into my home and you lied to me. You lied to my children. I did not lie to you and I did not lie to your children. You show me your port. You're the one who show me your port. Show me your port. Show me your port. Show me your port. Show me your port.
This picture said values, right?
Unwrap it.
Portray yourself
Unwrap
as
it.
being sitting in the chair receiving chemotherapy.
Unwrap. See? There's nothing to show. You're a fucking liar. She's a liar. Unwrap it. Then unwrap it. Are you serious? Right, are you show your port. Show your port, liar. Show your port. You're probably even fired. You probably don't even have a job.
After Angela left, I needed an absolute cutting of that time. There's so much deception and so much dishonesty. What is this woman capable of?
We went and saw Michelle every time we could in the gym. We're up to 80 days now, and she's given up hope. We just want her out of jail somehow. We lost 70% of our family was spent straight into the hole. And who wants to do business with the family whose daughter solicits rape fantasies to attack a pregnant woman?
Ian and Angela have been together for 8 months at this point. Michelle was finally out of their lives, and there are twins on the way. Ian was excited and looking forward to this new chapter in his life. But then I am sleeping late at night. I get a call somewhere around 2 a.m., which is never a good thing. The very first words out of Ian's mouth are, "The twins are not real." I had to kind of get my thoughts together, and I just said, "What? Wait, what?" And he said, "The sonogram of the twins was fake." I'm thinking, what the fuck? You know, Ian confronted Angela, and Angela was obstinate in her reply. "How could you say that? Of course they're real. What are you talking about?" But then she left immediately. Ian and I started to find pregnancy tests in Ziploc bags with blue markers. I'm thinking, oh my God, I thought, who is this person? Ian and I started to doubt everything that Angela said for that entire 8 months of being in Ian's life. So we told the police everything.
This is put it lightly, a monster of a case. And our job is to figure it out, to find out who's doing what. And we appreciate you coming in here making a statement. No problem at all. So let's talk about Angela. You say that your relationship with Angela started January 2nd?
We met at the Starbucks in Anaheim. We just hit it off. She was just a sweetheart. Everything I ever wanted in a woman. Everything.
Ian brought everything that we had found in the condo.
Oh, we have pregnancy test. This was found after she left.
This is the one that I was shown for the twins.
It's obviously Peter. And then I found these two with a different kind of ornament. And I found
All of
3
these
different
in
sets.
box.
And if you can tell, on the
Guys.
side here, this one's been altered and opened up at some point.
So she drew the one
explained to the police the sonogram was fake.
This just about killed me. If you Google fake sonograms, that one comes up at like number 10 on Google Images with other people's names on it.
Ian was disturbed by the whole thing and sort of at a loss for what to do next. He was not in a great place, and he was calling Angela.
Hey, I know you weren't the answer, that's fine. I just wanted to leave a message. You lied about something very, very severe. And if you could understand that, I think anybody else would too. I just hope you're taking care of yourself. Hey, Ian. Just trying to give you a call, see if you were available to talk. The fact that I even want to talk to you at this point probably means I really do love you. So, give me a call. Love you. After Angela left, I was starting to uncover all sorts of funny stuff.
She lied about her job.
Yes, she admitted that she did not have the job.
It felt like an immense responsibility to be sure that the police knew that there was some doubt now applied to Angela's filings with them about Michelle's threats of violence and rape, because what's really happening? Holy shit. Did any of these emails actually come from Michelle? Is it possible that Angela sent all of these emails to herself? Holy fuck. What really happened in the garage? Was she attacked in the garage? Here is Michelle in jail, and who the hell knows if that's the right person in jail? Is Angela the victim or the perpetrator?
Have you talked to Angela at all?
No.
Have you tried?
No.
We told the police, please look into this. Figure out what's missing. Go talk to Angela.
Hey, it's Nick. Just a couple of questions. Do you know Jason Rayburn at all? It's a person I dated a while ago. Okay. So much before you. Okay. And then, did you ever get sick? Did you ever get sick to the point where there's talk about you had like cancer? You can joke about it. I guess I have like cancer biopsies when they looked at everything. Yeah. Okay, so chemotherapy or anything like that? Yeah, absolutely not.
A mindfuck? Sorry, but I don't know if anything that I know about her is true.
Can't believe this is happening. Fucking idiot. Who do you think's responsible? I think Angela did it all. When I look at these crazy emails, the religious stuff, whatever, like the lowest stuff, and the Craigslist and the rapist, that could have been Angela. I leave the house, bam, all of a sudden she's attacked. She's behind all this. It seems like I've been sleeping with him the entire time.
Team 12's Kevin Kennedy joins us from the Live Alert Center with a plot twist. Kev.
Michelle Hadley spent 4 months in jail for a crime she didn't commit. Police say she was framed by a vindictive woman who was going to take extraordinary actions to ruin her life.
I started to question what her motive was. At some point, I just remember Angela asking me about Ian's relationship with Michelle. She seemed pretty curious about how that ended. At one point, Angela looks over at me and she's crying. And she said, I just feel like Michelle is always going to be in our life. We're never going to be able to move on because she will always be a part of it.
The judge
used the words evil, calculated, and said what Angela Diaz did was unlike anything he had seen in all his years on the bench.
This was a distorted triangle of relationships that twisted fantasies aren't even made up of.
They told me I'm free to go and the charges have been completely dropped. Freedom was so sweet at that point because, oh man, I mean, you don't appreciate it until you've lost it. I'm walking down the courthouse steps and the media is waiting for me outside. It's this big moment for me because they all want to hear what I have to say. Obviously, this has been a huge nightmare for me. Probably the most traumatic experience of my life. And I'm glad it's finally over. And I finally get to move on with my life.
This bizarre Orange County love triangle.
This is a big story.
It had all the makings of Law and Order. A jealous wife, romantic rivals, blackmail.
I think the media gleefully grabbed a hold of this narrative of the crazy woman, the jealous woman. And if they couldn't paint me as that, then they were just going to paint Angela as that. They didn't want to talk about the man involved. Nobody wanted to talk about that. I wanted someone to listen to me. I wanted to tell someone what actually happened. Because there was a lot more to tell.
I was working at the Department of Justice as a criminal investigator and digital forensic examiner, investigating cases involving Department of Justice.
My name U.S. Marshal. Sorry, this is Angela.
Angela Connell had pleaded guilty to charges relating to framing Ian Diaz's ex-girlfriend, Michelle Allen. Ian Diaz was the Deputy United States Marshal and a Department of Justice employee. But we had an obligation to go back to look at the case again. So we reached out. One of the first things I did was
I fell asleep. Sleep well, Sarah. Stop it.
My general impression of Ian and his responses is that he's a bit anxious. In addition to those recordings, there were a few things in the body camera footage that jumped out. There is a scene where Ian leaves the living room while Angela is talking to the police. Ian is clearly listening to what Angela is saying and provides her information from the side.
No, she doesn't do that. But she always says that. She always says that, right? Of like a criminal.
It sounds to me as if Ian is trying to coach Angela.
The last email was at 5:30.
Chapter 3.
No, there was one just now. That's why you
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
It certainly makes me think that Ian is involved. In addition, one of the things I noticed was Ian has tremendous animus toward Michelle.
You guys have been here.
We ran the same girl.
We're going to the same bitch. His ex-girlfriend of mine has it out for this woman because she fucking hates her and hates the fact that I'm not with her anymore.
His desire to have her locked up struck me as rather odd.
She needs to be fucking confident in a padded room.
And so we meet with Michelle to interview her and get a sense of what she'd be like
story. And why? What happened to me happened.
I need to get a little bit more detail into your relationship with Ethan.
Sure.
Anything strange happened that might have said what the heck, or
Yeah, I guess I kind of have to back up.
We came to realize that there was much more to Michelle's story than we had previously known.
Early in my relationship, I'm on a break at work, and Ian calls me to talk to me. I'm right outside my work building, and he tells me, hey, I have this fantasy that I want to watch you have sex with another man. My heart immediately dropped because I thought, oh, here it is. We're not compatible in this area. Obviously, people have different fantasies. That's normal. A lot of people are into different things. If I were actually to describe myself to people, I would put Wholesome right at the top of the list. Like, I was that little all-American girl who I've never done any drugs. I waited until I was 21 to drink alcohol. I was so wholesome. Like, almost sickeningly wholesome. But I thought he was too. I was not expecting any of this. He would bring it up over and over and over again, multiple times a week. I would say, I don't like this at all. This is making me feel really uncomfortable, and I don't want to do it. I've already told you.
how come at that point you just, you know what, this isn't working?
I did a couple times, I would cry, I would tell him I was done with it, I couldn't take it anymore. But then he would backpedal. He'd be like, oh no, it's just talk,
But then he starts sending me links to profiles on Craigslist of men he wants to do this with. I hadn't dated a lot before this, so I thought, maybe this is just what women had to do in relationships, like maybe this was normal. And I told him, like, okay, if I do this once, I don't ever want to hear about it again. And I just remember feeling like, a beautiful part of me had died. Because it was, just this part of myself that had existed outside of all of this ugliness in the world. And he just fucking killed it.
When did this act actually happen?
February 14th.
You know, after that happened, February 14th, you stayed.
I stayed with him more. I thought that if I let him scratch this itch, that we could move past this.
Did you guys get engaged too?
Yeah, I thought if we got engaged, then maybe the relationship was gonna be on the right track after this.
Hearing Michelle's story about his pressuring her very early on in the relationship to have sex with her, that's clearly a red flag. What happened after they got engaged was particularly helpful for purposes of our investigation.
When did you move into the apartment complex over at South Carolina?
It was about 2 months after that. She brought up the decision to get together. That's when everything went south. Ian starts asking me to change things about myself. It starts off with smaller things, like he wants me to get fake nails. Then he wants me to get a belly button piercing because he thinks it'll be hot. He starts asking me to dress in certain ways, so he'll pick out outfits for me and tell me when he wants me to wear them. I was really young, and I didn't have a very well-developed sense of self. really notice. And I get a phone call from him, and he's like, "Where are you right now?" It was like he was everywhere. The texts were incessant, constantly calling me. But then things started to escalate. He actually installed security cameras, but not outside the condo. He actually installed them inside, facing the kitchen where I would cook. I just felt like he always knew exactly where I was and what I was doing. The condo was initially this like beautiful dream, but after a month, it felt like a cage.
It was like I couldn't stay, but I couldn't leave. It was, I don't know, does that make sense? Where it's like this weird limbo where you're just stuck.
It was always the daily roller coaster ride. One minute, he'd be taking me to Lowry's Steakhouse and doing this really fancy dinner and telling me how beautiful I was. And then the next minute, he'd be flirting with another girl and screaming in my face. One time, we get into his car and he gets very angry at me, takes off. He's driving really, really fast, and we get on the freeway. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just slams the brakes on hard. He tells me, "Get out of the car." As I'm about to open the door, he reaches over me and slams it closed. And he says, "What's wrong with you? Are you crazy?" I'm shaking at this point. He takes the ring off my finger and basically tells me that I'm not getting it back until I learn how to behave myself.
Did you ever report any of that to the anarchist?
No, I did not.
Okay. Can I ask why?
Well, I saw a lot of research online about abusive relationships with cops, and I'll be honest, I thought they might try to protect him.
It was heart-wrenching to hear this story. How he manipulated and controlled her. She didn't want to come forward because she was afraid. I think at this point, I was starting to suspect Ian Diaz abused his position as a deputy United States Marshal. And so the testimony of Michelle became significant in our investigation.
I knew I needed to leave. And so there was one day where I hear Ian talking to his friend Leslie. This was my chance to get out. Because I knew he wouldn't do anything while she was there. As I drive away, my hands are literally shaking on the wheel. And I'm crying, hoping to God he doesn't follow me. At that point, my bank account is drained because it's all going into the condo. My parents' house was the only place I knew to go. And I felt like I'm here. But I'm realizing it's not over, and he has actually no intention of letting it be over. He started sending messages that made it seem like he knew where I was. He's calling me a bitch. He's calling me the C word. He's telling me I'm gonna regret this.
What's his end game? What's the reason why?
I think his end game was to figure out a way to keep the condo and destroy my life at the same time.
My parents are getting notifications that they have background checks done on them. It feels like it's escalating into a really scary place. Especially as Ian always had his gun with him. I just felt like he was constantly there watching me. At this point, I don't really feel like anywhere is completely safe. I have never felt fear like that before. Like I was a hunted animal. I think Ian's fucking crazy at this point. I think he's a psychopath. get into my car. I'm basically like, get me the fuck out of here. But as I'm driving, I feel myself slipping away. Like my brain just detaching. I ended up having an almost out of body experience for like 24 hours. And then when I come back out of the fog, I am in the middle of nowhere. I have no idea where I am. And I have been picked up by this Native American family who found me wandering around. And it turns out I was in Arizona. And they called paramedics and police, and they took me to a hospital. The doctor comes in to see me, and he says, you know, this sounds like a dissociative episode. And he tells me I have complex PTSD from what I just went through with Ian. So later, after all this supposed cyber stalking, when they arrested me, they read through these 2 emails that I sent.
Get ready, the truth is coming. God laws above all laws, including the law of man. So did you write this?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to explain it to him. I don't even really understand where a lot of it came from or why I wrote it. They only ever sent these 2 emails, but it was ranked. All this horrible cyber stalking.
Michelle's story does sound crazy, that she had effectively a nervous breakdown.
I thought he was gonna think I was crazy, but he didn't. He believed me. Just, I felt so much relief. And for the very first time, I felt like I had and suddenly, I was actually the one coming after him.
We realized the 2 religious emails that she sent Ian are important because we suspect that Ian seizes on those to create the Lilith account and create this other religious language. He mimics her when he writes these. And this is evidence that points to Ian, not Angela. At this point, we were starting to suspect that Angela might have only been a passenger. And that this was Ian's scheme. It's important that we find additional evidence to support this new theory that we had a Deputy United States Marshal, Ian Diaz, who framed his ex-girlfriend, Michelle Adler, for a crime she denied. We first looked at the night where Ian and Angela are reporting threats that Lilith is sending a rapist to the condo from Craigslist. It is one of the most significant events during the scheme.
She's stating that she's going to have this guy come over, he's going to give an address or whatever, and come over and rape her, beat her, right?
So it was important for us to find the man on Craigslist, Rick, because not only was he lured to the condo under false pretenses, he may have given us information that we didn't have about what happened that night. So it took a little bit of sleuthing to find Rick, but we finally tracked him down.
I want to be anonymous because I don't want to be known for my sexual fantasies. Because I am a single parent and I didn't want to date at that point. I was on the Craigslist meeting people for casual encounters.
actually a very popular fantasy, I would say. So I placed an ad on the Craigslist and it said, I am looking for women who have fantasies about being raped or forced on porn. I get this message from Lilith's Truth. Her reply stood out because she seemed very eager, almost desperate to get this done. I thought it was a bit odd, so I figured I'll get her on the phone to voice verify just to make sure that this is real.
When I viewed the body cam footage, there were a few things that struck me about what was happening that night. The first is that Ian is able to identify and communicate with Rick on Craigslist.
I tried to act like a girl and I asked him, what's your number?
When our digital forensics team looked on his computer, there was no evidence of Ian going to 40 or 50 different rape fantasy posts to find Rick. He hits the first pitch, and he gets Rick correctly. The odds of that are just impossible. This is like a 1,000,000 to 1 shot. And then in his laptop backups, we found Ian using his personal email account to jump right in to this conversation thread that Rick was having with Lilith without missing a beat, such that Rick thinks he's communicating with the same person. Ian asks, are you headed to my place in Anaheim tonight? Now, that certainly begs the question, how did he know that Rick was coming to the condo in Anaheim that night? The only conclusion is that Ian himself had responded to the Craigslist fantasy rape ad using the Lilith Truth email. This is compelling evidence Ian Diaz was running the scheme.
So when I got this message, I replied, I can, but I need you to voice verify.
And now it's Angela Diaz pretending to be Lilith who actually voice verifies.
Hi, Rick. This is Lily. I just wanted to confirm tonight at 8 o'clock. I'll see you then.
So I heard it was a woman, so I said, well, okay, I'm gonna go down there and get this done.
Something else that jumped out to me. While Angie is calling the Anaheim Police Department and reporting that Michelle Hadley is sending a rapist, Ian is actively encouraging him to come to the house.
My idea was, yes, I had her go out there and open the gate a little bit to be open. I was hoping he's gonna come up. I wasn't gonna rough him or mess with him. I was just gonna say, just have a seat, because I knew you guys were coming. I was just gonna detain him.
Anyone who's worried that a potential rapist is coming to your house doesn't encourage them to come to the house and then unlock the door and then unlock the gate. But in this case, it's clear Ian and Angela are doing it to bring Rick to the condo because they wanted to frame Michelle Hadley. In his police interview, Ian laid this all at Angela's doorstep.
I can't believe this is happening. Okay, I am. Who do you think is responsible? Maybe Angela did it all.
Ian wants to suggest that all of this happened right under his nose.
It seems like I've been sleeping with you the entire time.
But it's clear watching the body cam footage, looking at the digital evidence, and upon interviewing Rick, that this wasn't the case. This is Ian pretending to be Michelle, pretending to be Angela, catfishing someone to the condo. This is a very complicated case. This could be confusing to a jury. Who's impersonating whom, pretending to be whom? I need to clear my head to reflect on how the case should be presented. And I'm thinking, did Michelle Hadley pose a real threat to Ian and Angela? Of course not. But how did they persuade the Anaheim Police Department to lock her out? So we needed to prove to a jury that Ian had misused his position and manipulated the Anaheim Police Department. pattern of the scheme begins with what would be otherwise innocuous impersonation of Michelle Hadley.
I got another email from her, and I haven't opened it to check it, but I just read
Communications to Angela that are somewhat threatening.
the last one we got from her was late last night, and she just said, "You will not have a husband anymore. Your children will not have a father. I hope your punishment is swift. I love keeping you waiting for what is next. Enjoy work tomorrow. I'm sure it will be a painfully enjoyable experience. Michelle."
But to the Anaheim Police Department, there was nothing that they could do.
This is, okay, it's a criminal threat, but can't do anything until she gets served.
So, restraining order, and then the secret service. Okay.
And then it slowly ratchets its way up with grotesque pictures.
These emails have pictures of decapitated people, or aborted fetuses, decapitated fetuses.
But the Anaheim Police Department are not really acting when the threat level is low.
That's a misdemeanor, unfortunately.
So Ian and Angela have to increase the threat level. Now we're responding to ads for rape fantasies.
Police, Detective Scott.
Hi, my name is Lloyd, and I have open cases with Anaheim PD on a person named Michelle Hadley, and I've been receiving emails today from her that she has somebody that's going to come attack me and rape me.
Police arrive on scene because, according to the call they received, there's someone there to commit a raid. Ian can see that they're police officers, and he is standing there with his firearm out to persuade the Anaheim Police Department that the threat is so severe that he has to be prepared to use lethal force to stop his wife from being attacked.
Just ask him to get shot.
Yeah.
I would have shot him.
This is play acting. By wearing his badge, and then by putting it on the table.
So, my name's Ian. I'm a U.S. Marshal. Sorry. This is Angela.
Ian is trying to show to them, like, I'm one of you, and you should credit what I said.
Had I not emailed him today, she would have been raped outside in the courtyard.
Now, trying to persuade them that I've never seen anything like this. That Michelle Hadley, she needs to be in a padded room in cuffs.
And she's just chilling at her apartment right now, just alone, manipulating everybody.
And then Ian's effort to manipulate the Anaheim Police Department is starting to get traction.
At what point did this girl get arrested for sending the shit and hiring guys off the Craigslist to rape her? I'm just curious.
With an imminent threat of rape, the time that Anaheim Police Department has to think continues to get reduced and reduced. This dragnet ensues, right? Anaheim Police Department is racing around the neighborhood, they put a helicopter in the air, they're trying to find this alleged rapist. And then comes the final act.
Somebody, you come behind me and shove me against my wall and started choking me.
Ian is ratcheting up the level of threat, the danger that this Michelle Hadley poses. And he ultimately forces them into acting quickly.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen, okay? I have a warrant in my car. And I'm gonna go out there and grab her.
Looking at this timeline of events, we can understand how Ian was able to persuade the Anaheim Police Department to arrest Michelle Hadley. Although Ian does everything he can to cover his tracks in digital forensics, there's always another place to go looking for conclusive evidence. As I got deeper and deeper into Ian's DOJ Marshal Service issued devices, it turns out what he had on his computer was very significant to us. When you create a Word document, it's creating temp files in the background. And so if you lose power or you forget to hit save, you can then recover it. And on Ian's DOJ laptop, we found fragments of a Lilith is Truth email. This was evidence that Ian Diaz is Lilith. There it was in black and white. It was time to arrest Ian Diaz.
You might remember this story with a twisted plot out of Orange County.
I almost didn't believe it. I immediately went on to the DOJ's website, and they actually had a press release that said that he had been arrested. So I was like, oh my God, it's real.
The case dates back to 2016. Ian Diaz and his then wife, Angela Diaz, created a twisted plot against Michelle Hadley.
I knew that there was no chance that he was going to plead any other way than not guilty. He would do everything within his power to prove his innocence.
The ex-boyfriend, who prosecutors say framed her, is convicted.
Guilty on all counts. And I just remember, I'm standing at the sink and I'm looking in the mirror, and I just remember looking at myself and thinking, you fucking did it. You did it.
I couldn't believe that this was happening. I've never felt that sad. I felt like it was a nightmare. I needed to wake up. I just wanted to wake up. And I couldn't. It was real.
One of the things I noticed when I first came into the case was this person named Leslie. And I realized very early on, okay, you're someone who's very much in Ian Diaz's corner.
I wouldn't doubt that people think that I'm blinded by my friendship with Ian, and that somehow I'm missing some deep, dark side of him.
I can't say definitively that upon interviewing her, I came away firmly believing that this is a woman who is in love with him. But later, as additional evidence came forward, that's the conclusion I came to.
I love him with all my heart. He is like a part of my family, and I will love him forever, but I am not in love with Ian. So there's your side, my side, and the truth. But there is no evidence that anyone could show me that would make me doubt Ian's innocence, because I see that Angela is a serial imposter, and she pled guilty to charges, and an innocent person does not plead guilty.
I think we will never know exactly what happened in the condo. Only Ian Diaz and Angela Connell know. And they're not reliable witnesses. But we could try and answer the question of why did Ian do this? As much as the condo is part of this, and he didn't want to lose his home, to me, it boils down to Ian wanting to control someone. He wanted to control Michelle, and she got away, and that made him angry. So he designed a scheme to frame his ex-girlfriend. In my view, Angela Connell was a perfect worker because she created empathy. Angela loved portraying herself as a victim. And Ian exploited that.
Ian got everything he wanted, but it actually cost him his freedom. I often look back and wonder how Ian turned into the person who wanted control and power over me. Ian had told me at one point that he grew up in a really toxic environment. I thought, could this possibly explain his behavior towards me? It felt like he actually had two totally different personalities, and you never knew which one you were gonna get. Were you gonna get this like sex-obsessed fiend, or were you gonna get the wholesome boy? And I thought that this personality, the wholesome one, was who he really was, but sadly, the damage had been done. Ian and Angela cast me as Lilith. She basically escaped the Garden of Eden and disobeyed everyone, Adam, God, the whole group. She's the quintessential revolutionary. In retrospect, I'm not mad that they picked a character for me who is a disobedient female who stands up to male authority figures. It kind of fits. I just didn't know it then. But now I'm on this other side of that journey. I started to rebuild my life. You know, I'm getting back into school, I'm going back to work, and I start dating again. Eventually, I find out I'm pregnant. I gave birth to my daughter on the same day Ian was convicted. How cool is that? Huh? That sounds like what they do with the movies. I hope you did fun things today, huh? Yeah. Well, I miss you, baby. I love you. Oh, I love you too. So sweet. Kisses. Raising this beautiful little girl is my fairy tale ending. I think it is happily ever after. I'm not a princess, but I get to be the hero in my own story.
Hey, boss. I forgot to put these in there. Eat. Hey, guys. What do you think you went through before you met us?
Whatever it was, it wasn't good.
He hasn't eaten since I fed him yesterday, but he just sits there, smelling those meatballs, not begging. Letting us all eat. Like a king. You know what? Give me some meatballs. There we go. Look at that. A meal fit for a king. You know what? I think we should call him Arthur.
Listen, cool. You guys know where you stand now, right? Everybody's been through so much. Just not the right time. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
You know, that night, I meant what I said.
But we can't.
I think this is something that we're all going to be dealing with for a while.
I hate that I'm not able to do more to help.
We all get to put ourselves first every once in a while. Even you.
Hey, Uncle Richard.
Wait, what up?
Elliot.
It's so good to see you. Something's been off with you since Mr. Harvard showed up.
I don't want more pressure, and I don't want to be in that box.
You okay? We're cold. Racing.
No. But we also said that you couldn't drunk ride, and look how that turned out.
Having you here is a reminder of my old life.
It doesn't have to be your old life.
You have to find a way to get along with the other riders. Try harder. I just have to be honest and say I'm really worried about this.
This family has been the best thing that has come up, the worst thing that happened. And I don't take that for granted.
Don't waste another second feeling guilty. We all just need to get back to living.
I used to be a different person, but then everything changed. Am I sure that's who I want to be?
Do you know what they're doing? They're right there, watching us, trying to figure out which one of us is the weak link.
I became a part of this family. Olivia told me to run. I should have listened.
Can you believe it? You got him.
We're better together.
Doesn't it all seem a little too easy?
You can only trust someone as far as you can truly see them.
I own the club.
Which makes you my new partner.
Honey, I'm the only drama queen in this family.
Gee, there's a lot you don't know.
Well, let's not get it twisted. We run the company.
I know they're plotting against us.
I'm going nuclear.
I don't like being ignored.
You're not the sister I know. No. I am the sister that had to learn how to survive.
When it all comes down, it's going to come down hard.
I will get what I want. Still kill me, mother.
What's up, guys? You guys a number? Oh, you're the Avengers. What are you guys doing here? Thor, Hulk. Can finally meet you guys.
Why are you more handsome in person?
Iron Man.
Why are you robbing the bank? You're a billionaire.
I didn't know fighting the Avengers with the bank on 21st Street.
Alright, guys, just wrap this up. Cool, guys. How do jerks like you get tucked like this?
The hardest problem Lucius students face isn't moving away from home
This is for emergencies. Booze is not an emergency. Neither are edibles.
or balancing our work and social lives.
Hey, babe, no, I don't know how many guys are going to be there.
It's trying to coexist with your roommates. This is my roommate Celeste. And this is me. If I seem traumatized, it's because I am.
Why'd you stop? Keep singing.
I was wondering what the process is for switching roommates. Is that how Bra and
I would appreciate if you didn't sleep with guys in my bed, because that is an incredibly fair request.
At the start of the year, you were inseparable. We have IDs. So confusing sometimes. I'm not looking for just a roommate. I'm looking for a ride or die. You need to take Alex home. Yeah, he took something. Did you kill my brother Molly? Wait, what? Why would you do that?
Hey, baby, I'm still at the party. I don't know. 20 guys. Why are you mad at me? Middle school, I thought high school was gonna work out.
Devin, wait. Do you mind taking it?
That's kind of brutal.
High school, I thought college was gonna work out.
We're never gonna go!
Baby, you're spiraling. It's gonna be amazing. We'll see.
You know what would be my worst nightmare? We immediately started streaming hundreds of tiny Polaroids of twinkly lights. So desperate. It's cute. Told you this was stupid.
This is Michael Bryce. I'm an executive protection agent. I've extracted my client. Cleanup is required. You might want to call the bomb squad. Maybe the fire department. Is that Michael? I'm afraid so. Have a seat. It's been a long day.
The trial continues at one of the world's most brutal dictators, with a key witness to testify.
I can assure you, we're more than prepared for any assault.
Prepared for that assault?
Kincaid is dead. You'll be paid in full.
It's a safe house.
I have a job for you.
The transcript is in there.
What the?
27 times. That's how many times you tried to kill me. 26.
28. I'll be safe, Romo. You will last 1 hour without me.
Tell us where your husband is.
You lost my husband?
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound? You and Ray Bryce and Kincaid don't make it. So they kill each other first.
If you wouldn't mind, the gun.
You about done?
Okay, on 3. 1.
My bad. You're bad.
Oh my God. This man's killed over 150 people.
250. Easy.
There are moments in our lives when we arrive at a crossroads.
You did not answer my letter.
Because I do not wish to see you.
What do you mean to do?
Being your mistress is the last thing I would ever want.
How else am I to be with a woman society has made it impossible for me to be with?
You must be brave. You cannot let fear stop you from letting